What would you think if the last video of a person showed them hiding from something that was never seen? This is the true story of Elisa Lam. In 2013, Elisa Lam was a 21-year-old student from Canada. She loved to travel alone and write about her thoughts online. Friends described her as kind, curious, and creative. During a solo trip across the United States, she arrived in Los Angeles and booked a room at a place called the Cecil Hotel. Elisa did not know the history of the building. The Cecil Hotel had been connected to death for decades. Serial killers had stayed there. Many guests had taken their own lives inside its walls. Locals said it was dangerous. Some even believed it was cursed, but to Elisa, it was just a cheap place to stay. At first, her trip seemed normal. She explored the city and spoke to her family every day. But soon, hotel staff noticed strange behavior. Elisa acted confused. She left notes for her roommates asking them to leave the room. They complained, and Elisa was moved to a private room. On February 1st, a security camera recorded Elisa inside an elevator. She stepped in and pressed several buttons. But the doors did not close. She leaned forward and looked into the hallway. Then she stepped outside. She looked left. Slowly, she backed into the elevator and hid in the corner. Her hands moved in strange patterns. Her fingers twisted in the air. It looked like she was talking to someone who was not there, but the camera showed no one else. This video would become famous around the world. This was the last time Elisa Lam was seen alive. That night, Elisa failed to call her parents, which she normally did every day. Her family became worried and contacted the police. Officers went to the Cecil Hotel and began searching for her. They checked her room. They checked the hallways. They checked the stairwells and storage areas. Police even searched the rooftop with dogs trained to find human scent. But the dogs lost her trail near the fire escape. There were no signs of violence. There was no struggle. There was no body. Days passed with no answers. During this time, the elevator video was released to the public. Millions of people watched it online. They slowed it down. They replayed it frame by frame. Everyone tried to understand what Elisa was afraid of. Some said she looked playful. Some said she looked confused. Others said she looked terrified. No one could agree. 2 weeks later, guests staying at the hotel began complaining about the water. Some said it smelled bad. Few guests even said the water pressure was low. Hotel management sent a maintenance worker to the roof to inspect the water tanks. The tanks were large metal containers that supplied water to the entire building. The worker climbed up to the tanks and opened one of the lids. Inside, he saw Elisa Lam. Her body was floating in the water. She had been missing for almost 3 weeks. Over time, many theories appeared. Some people believed Elisa was hiding from a real person. They thought someone may have followed her onto the roof and forced her into the tank. But police said there was no evidence of another person. Others believed Elisa was experiencing a mental episode. They said she may have been confused, frightened, and trying to hide somewhere she thought was safe. The dark water tank may have looked like a place to escape from danger that only she could see. There were also people who believed the hotel itself was responsible. The Cecil Hotel had seen too many deaths. To them, Elisa's case was not just an accident. It was part of a pattern. Even today, the elevator video is still watched by millions. People slow it down. They study her hands. They study her eyes. They study the moment she steps out of the elevator, but the camera never shows what she was afraid of. It only shows her reaction, the reaction filled with fear. Years have passed since Elisa Lam disappeared inside that hotel. Her family still does not have a clear answer. The building has changed its name, but its past remains the same, and the questions remain. Why did the elevator doors stay open? Why did she hide in the corner? Why was the tank lid closed? No one has ever proven what really happened. All we know is this: a young woman entered an elevator. Her last moments were recorded, and the world is still trying to understand what she saw. Was she running from something real, or something only she could see? The mystery of Elisa Lam remains unsolved.